Hi guys, Dorothy here, professional astrologer. Today I'm going to talk to you about the eclipse, July 2nd at 10 degrees of Cancer. Now we have a lot going on. It's not like the week before last with a lot of tension and stress, but we do have a beautiful opportunity to get into alignment with how we feel, what we want in regards to our family and our emotional needs. So there's a lot to talk about, and I'm going to share all of that with you in just a moment. So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining me here today. My website, nhastrologer.com. And if you want to get more content and live interaction with me, please come to my Patreon account and become a member. The link is below. Today, let's get started. On Monday, July 1st, the big news of the day is that the moon is in Gemini. And when the moon's in Gemini, in the balsamic lunar phase, the moon in Gemini wants to talk, wants to share how we feel, wants to know how we feel through communicating. So a lot of talking, a lot of texts, a lot of emails, and a lot going on in our heads. In that balsamic lunar phase, that means that we need to get a lot of emotion out. We're going to be in this balsamic lunar phase until the new moon eclipse on July 2nd at 3:19 in the afternoon, East Coast time. So while the moon's in Gemini on Monday, talk things out. Get your feelings out on paper if you can't communicate with whomever you need to communicate with. All right? Good. When we get to July 2nd, that new moon eclipse in the sign of Cancer at 10 degrees. Look at where that is in your chart. Get a chart wheel if you need to, or you can ask me what house it's in. That will give you more information. Now, what's the basis of this eclipse? The basis of this new moon eclipse is emotion. And it is about caring and nurturing childhood, family, how we want to take care of ourselves, and setting those goals based on that. The new moon eclipse is also opposite Saturn. Saturn and Pluto. North node's in between these two. South node is in between these two. That is bringing up fear. And there's a lot of fear that has come to the surface because we had powerhouse oppositions June 19th, which really stirred a lot of people up. This eclipse will not do that. This eclipse wants us to get into alignment with how we feel. If we're fearful and afraid, this new moon, I was going to say full, this new moon opposite Saturn may bring up some fears. What I want you to do is to go within. This is about not allowing information to control you. This is about listening to information and using it to the best of your ability. Go within if you're feeling fearful and ask yourself, is this true for you? These are the most important things that we can do for ourselves at all times. But with this eclipse, it's important. With that Saturn-Pluto involved, it's important because certain pieces of our foundations are starting to crumble because they're not strong anymore. And we need to build new strength and foundation somewhere else. The full moon on July 16th, the eclipse on July 16th, will add to that, and I'll tell you about it when we get to it. But in the meantime, this new moon on July 2nd is truly asking us, how do you feel? And we want you to get into alignment with how you feel and figure out how you feel. Don't keep going on in your head. That's one of the main pieces of this. Now, with new moons, and since this new moon is an eclipse, new moons start a 3-year cycle. I've talked to you about this before. I'm going to put the dates up right here for you, and you just hit pause and write them down. And what I want you to do is just to make a note of those periods, because what it's doing is it's connected to the eclipse on July 2nd. The next one is in April 2020, then 9 months after that, and 9 months after that. The point is everything is connected. So set good intentions. Make sure you do the best you can to get into alignment with who you feel who you are, how you feel, the family members, if that's important for you, those you call family and friends, and how you need to be cared for and nurtured. These are so important for you. There's more details in the written forecast on my website, nhastrologer.com. Just click on the written forecast tab and you'll be able to read more details there as well. Because what I say here, sometimes I've already written it, I already wrote it, and new information is coming through. I'm not changing what I've written. So it's so much work. So it comes through the way it comes through, but it's all really good and valid information. Now, I also want us to recognize that Monday and Tuesday, Mars has entered the sign of Leo, and he's at 0 Leo. And this is about taking action. He's been in Cancer for a very long time, and that stirred up a lot of emotions for people. So getting in alignment with this new moon eclipse should be easy for us, because a lot of emotions have already come to the surface. Now, what about this Mars at 0 Leo? This Mars at 0 Leo is at the same location of an eclipse we had in January 21st, 0 Leo. So that was a full moon eclipse. Take a look at what was going on then. These are dates. This is why it's so important to keep a journal, or at the very least, a calendar, and put a few little notes on it. Tiny little book. You don't have to write pages, but it's good to do this. That way we can see what we were working on. Now, eclipses also have a 19-year cycle. I'm sure if you're listening to a lot of these forecasts, you know that. And this 19-year cycle, meaning we are feeling now what we felt 2000, 2001. Now, it doesn't have to be exact. Depends on what was going on, but there would be emotion or family growth. I had a grandson born in that period, so that was my family expanding. Hopefully it doesn't happen again, because he and his brother, they may be teenagers, but they're still too young. Hopefully I don't need to be great-grandmother. Holy cow, that would be crazy. I'm only 59. Yikes. So the point is, what was going on in 2000, 2001 that was important for you? Maybe you bought a home and it's time to sell, or maybe you thought about it, or you've been saving. Who knows? You know your life. I want you to look back to that time period, see what was going on then, because now we get to step up and do something more. It's not going to be exactly the same, because 19 years has gone by. I'm sure you've grown in all that period, haven't we? Right, we have. So we know more. So we get to address something else. Not a bad thing. Wonderful. This is called spiritual growth. This is called living on the edge, right? We are here really learning a lot, these spirits in these physical bodies. So those are the bits and pieces that we're going to focus on for the beginning of July. On Wednesday, the big news is Venus enters Cancer. So we're going to really value the emotional connections that we have over the next 3 weeks. On Thursday, Independence Day, and Friday, the 5th, so the 4th and the 5th, the moon in Leo. Play, have fun, be creative, get things moving, all right? That's really what we get with that moon in Leo. It's adding to the fire of Mars in Leo. Fantastic. Going on to Saturday and Sunday. So we do have the moon in Virgo on both of these days. Let me put my book down. With the moon in Virgo, so that is very detail-oriented, very focused on everyday comings and goings. We also have Mercury stationary and on Sunday night, and it goes retrograde for the next 3 weeks. Those stationary days are usually the toughest, as opposed to the retrograde days, in my opinion. I'm a Gemini. Mercury is my ruling planet. To me, it's the stationary days that give me trouble. It's not when he's actually retrograding, because once you're going in a certain direction, you can get used to it. It's just a slower pace, and it's about focusing within. Mercury is in the early degrees of Leo as it's retrograding, 4 degrees of Leo, retrogrades all the way back into Virgo. I can't remember the degree right now, and then back again in 6 weeks. So Mercury stationary, Sunday night, moon in Virgo, lots of people being so focused on the details. I suspect if you have plans to drive home, this is typically a week off in America. A lot of people take this week off. But if you're driving home on a Sunday night to get ready for Monday, plan ahead. I think a lot of people are going to be driving home, and it's just going to be slow going. I know. I hate to hear that too. I'm not going to go anywhere. What am I doing? I have nothing scheduled on that day. I won't go too far in these types of holidays. I have family that lives near, so it doesn't take too much. What are you going to do? All right. Let me know below what you like to do when you are using new moon eclipses. And again, come to Patreon because we're going to be interacting on July 1st. I have a live broadcast only for patrons, and we're going to talk about the new moon in Cancer, which is an eclipse. So that will be Monday night, and you'll get all the information if you are a member. All right. Thank you very much, guys. Please share. And if you're not a subscriber, I would like that. So don't forget to push that button. And I'll see you next time. Blessings. Namaste.